Have you ever let one moment of anger ruin your entire day? One insult, one rude comment, and suddenly you're hijacked by emotion, thrown off course and saying things you later regret. Why does it feel like we have no control when emotions flare? And more importantly, how do we take that control back? The Stoics believed that your mind, not other people, not circumstances, is your true battlefield. They taught that power doesn't lie in reacting louder, but in not reacting at all. In choosing calm over chaos, in refusing to hand over your peace to someone who doesn't deserve it. This video will show you exactly how to never get angry or upset with anyone or anything again. Not by suppressing your feelings, but by rewiring the way you respond. You'll learn actionable, battle-tested Stoic techniques to help you pause before reacting, detach from what doesn't serve you, and master your emotions like a warrior of the mind. You're not weak for struggling. You're human. Every man has faced the heat of anger and the sting of disrespect, but few ever learn to rise above it. That's where you change. So if you've ever felt exhausted from being emotionally hijacked, this is for you. Like this video, subscribe for more Stoic strategies, and share it with someone who needs their peace back. Because once you understand Stoicism, you don't just manage anger, you become untouchable. And that changes everything. 1. Reframe emotional outbursts as habits you can unlearn. You weren't born angry. You weren't born snapping at people in traffic, slamming doors, or replaying conversations in your head for hours. That reaction, what feels automatic now, was learned. Picked up over the years of stress, pride, and a world that constantly tells men they need to be tough, loud, and dominant. But here's the truth. Real strength isn't loud. It's silent. And the most powerful man in the room is the one who doesn't flinch, doesn't bark back, and doesn't let his peace be disturbed by small things. Anger is not just a feeling, it's a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken. But first, you have to see it for what it is. A chain reaction that only keeps going because you feed it. A guy cuts you off, your boss talks down to you, your partner says something sharp, and before your brain catches up, your mouth fires. That's the cycle. And most men stay trapped in it their whole lives, believing it's just who they are. But the Stoics saw it differently. They didn't see anger as a personality trait. They saw it as a weakness in disguise. Epictetus once said, "Any person capable of anger is a slave to it." That's harsh, but it's true. When you react blindly, you hand your power to the very thing that triggered you. You become predictable, easy to manipulate, and emotionally exhausted. Now, picture this. You're standing in line at the DMV. You've already been waiting an hour. Someone cuts right in front of you, bold as day. You feel it rise. Tight chest, clenched jaw, that urge to bark back. That moment right there, that's your battlefield. You either fight the same old war you always lose, or you pause and ask one simple question. Will getting angry make this better? You know the answer. You've lived the answer. You've lashed out before. And what did it bring you? Nothing but more stress, more regret, and more distance from the man you're trying to become. This is where Stoicism shifts everything. You don't need to suppress your feelings. You need to step outside them. Watch them like clouds passing through the sky. Acknowledge them, but don't let them drive. The mind, the rational self, that's the driver. That's the power Stoics built through discipline. Most men go through life thinking their anger is justified. That's proof they care. That staying calm means weakness or apathy, but it's the opposite. Anyone can blow up. That's easy. What's hard, what takes discipline, maturity, and real backbone, is to stay composed when everything around you is trying to shake you. When someone disrespects you and you don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you flinch. That's dominance. When life throws chaos at you and you stand still, that's control. So what do you do next time that fire rises in your chest? You pause. You breathe. You remind yourself, this anger is a habit. I don't need to wear it anymore. And then you walk away. Not because you're weak, but because you've grown too strong to waste your energy on things that don't deserve it. You're not here to be triggered. You're here to take your power back. That begins not with the world changing, but with you responding differently. Respond like a man who owns his mind. Respond like a Stoic. 2. Control yourself instead of trying to control others. It's easy to explode, easy to raise your voice, throw a jab, or storm out of the room. That's what most men do when they feel disrespected. Lash out to regain some sense of power. But that kind of power is fake. It burns hot, fades fast, and always leaves you feeling weaker than before. Real control doesn't come from dominating someone else. It comes from mastering yourself in the heat of the moment. Anger tricks you. It tells you that if you don't react, you're weak. That if someone pushes you, you need to push back harder. That silence is surrender. But think back. How many times has getting angry actually solved anything? You yell, and the other person yells louder. You prove your point, but lose the relationship. You win the argument, but lose sleep over what you said. And in the end, you feel drained, because you were never really in control. You were just reacting. Now imagine this. You're in a meeting at work. Your manager criticizes your idea in front of the whole team, unfairly, even arrogantly. You feel the heat rising. Every part of you wants to fire back, defend your name, shut him down, but something stops you. A voice inside says, if I respond now, I'll only make this worse. So you pause, you breathe, you say, thanks for the feedback, I'll revisit it, and you move on. Later in private, you speak with clarity, not emotion. That is control. That is a strength. And that is Stoic. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoics didn't believe in letting pride run the show. They believed in response over reaction, clarity over chaos. They understood what many men still don't. Trying to control other people is a losing game. What you can control, and always could, is how you choose to show up. The mistake most men make is believing that silence means weakness, that walking away makes you look less of a man. But think about the last time someone lost it in front of you. Did you respect them more, or did they lose power in your eyes? Rage is loud, but respect is quiet. When you stay calm in the face of provocation, you become untouchable. And that unnerves people far more than shouting ever could. The Stoic path doesn't mean you never speak up. It means you choose how and when you speak, on your terms, not your angers. When you learn to delay your reaction, to let the emotion pass before you act, you create space. And in that space, you find wisdom. You make better choices. You keep your self-respect intact. Next time someone disrespects you, don't take the bait. Let them act small. You stay solid, not because you're afraid to respond, but because you're choosing not to fall into their storm. You rise above it, not for them, but for yourself. That's what control really looks like. It's not about having the last word, it's about having the last piece. So start today. Don't try to control the room. Control your breath, your words, your face, your energy. You'll walk out of every conflict with something most men never find, your dignity untouched. And that's a win no one can take from you. 3. Build calm like a muscle, through daily practice. You can't expect to be calm in chaos if you've never practiced calm in silence. That's the part most men miss. They wait until they're angry, disrespected, or overwhelmed, and only then do they try to control themselves. But emotional strength doesn't show up on command. It's trained, it's earned. It's built in the quiet moments when no one's watching. Just like your body won't grow stronger without consistent training, your mind won't suddenly hold steady under pressure unless you've been working on it daily. Self-mastery isn't a switch you flip, it's a skill you forge. Think about a man who's never touched weights suddenly walking into a gym and trying to lift 300 pounds. He gets crushed. The same goes for your emotions. If you never train yourself to pause, to breathe, to sit with discomfort instead of reacting, then the first time life hits you hard, you fold. Not because you're weak, but because you're untrained. Now imagine this. You're home after a long day. Your kid spills juice on your laptop. Your instinct fires. You want to yell, but something clicks. You've been working on this. Instead of reacting, you pause. You breathe. You say, let's clean it up. That moment feels small, but it's not. That's a rep. That's strength in action. And that rep will serve you in far bigger storms. Stoicism isn't a philosophy built for monks on a mountain. It was designed for real life, for soldiers, leaders, workers, fathers, people surrounded by stress, noise, and conflict. It teaches that peace isn't found in isolation. It's found by training your mind to stay still in the middle of the storm. And that training starts with the little things. Waking up early to reflect, journaling your thoughts before bed, choosing silence over sarcasm when someone frustrates you. These aren't empty rituals, they're workouts for the soul. The mistake most men make is waiting for the fire to prove they can stay cool. But that's not how it works. You prepare in advance. You build rituals that strengthen your focus, deepen your breathing, and sharpen your awareness. Because when pressure hits, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote every day, reflecting on what triggered him, what tested him, and how he could respond better tomorrow. Not because he was weak, but because he wanted to grow stronger. And Epictetus, once a slave, taught that discipline begins not in the grand gestures, but in the daily control of thought and emotion. They practiced calm as a habit, not a reaction. So if you want to stop being the man who always loses it when things go wrong, start being the man who prepares before they do. Sit with your discomfort instead of reaching for a distraction. Notice your breath when you're tempted to speak. Reflect at the end of the day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. These aren't small acts. They're your emotional weightlifting. No one's born a Stoic, and no one wakes up with perfect self-control. But the man who commits, who repeats, who trains, he becomes untouchable. You build that calm like you build anything else, with effort, with practice, with time. So don't wait for the world to test you. Test yourself. Every day. Because the man who trains his mind in stillness wins when the noise comes. 4. Let go of what doesn't serve you. You had your whole day planned. Wake up early, hit the gym, knock out your tasks, and feel on top of everything. Then the traffic hits. Someone canceled a meeting last minute. Your boss piles more on your plate with zero notice. Now the plan is wrecked and frustration builds fast. That tightness in your chest, that heat in your throat, it's not from the event. It's from your resistance to it. You're not angry because things changed. You're angry because you thought they wouldn't. But the world doesn't care about your schedule. Life doesn't ask for your permission before it changes course. And the longer you cling to how you wanted things to go, the more you suffer. That's not weakness. That's attachment. An attachment left unchecked becomes a trap. A man who needs everything to go right to stay calm is a man who will never know peace. Letting go isn't giving up. It's recognizing what's not worth holding. It's learning to tell the difference between what's in your hands and what's slipping through your fingers, no matter how tightly you grip. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They didn't waste energy on traffic, rude people, or changing plans. They saved that energy for what they could actually shape: their character, their mindset, their response. So when something throws off your day, don't immediately react. Step back. Ask yourself, is this in my control? If the answer is no, don't fuel it with your attention. Let it pass like bad weather. You're not ignoring it. You're choosing not to drown in it. That's not denial. That's discipline. The common mistake most men make is believing that control means forcing things to fit. But real control is about adaptation. Power isn't making the world obey. It's staying calm when it doesn't. That's why Stoicism isn't passive. It's precise. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop wasting care on what can't be changed, and that shift, right there, frees up your strength for what truly matters. Now picture this. You're in a parking lot. A stranger backs into your car, leaves a dent, then shrugs like it's no big deal. You want to erupt. You want justice. But after that first wave of emotion, you pause. You ask yourself, will raging at him fix the dent? Will it make him care more? No. So you do the paperwork, you stay calm, you protect your energy, and you drive away. Not just with a damaged bumper, but with your dignity intact. That's the move. That's the win. Not because you let him off easy, but because you didn't let him take anything more than metal. He doesn't get your peace, your night, your health. You kept those. Because you let go of what wasn't worth keeping. Stoic strength doesn't shout. It doesn't cling. It releases. And in that release, there's real control. So start asking yourself more often, is this mine to hold? If it's not, let it go. Because the man who knows what to carry and what to drop doesn't get angry at every storm. He walks through it, calm, clear, and unshaken. And that man, no matter the chaos, remains in control. 5. Turn conflict into a personal test of mastery. You can't avoid conflict. Not if you're alive, working, dealing with people, building something real. Someone will challenge you, misunderstand you, talk down to you, or push your limits. That's just life. But the way most men approach conflict is reactive. They see it as a threat to their pride, a moment to win or prove something. So they tense up, raise their voice, and try to dominate. But in doing so, they miss what conflict really is. It's not a threat to your power. It's a mirror of it. Conflict reveals where you still lose control, where your ego still takes the lead. You're still a slave to other people's opinions. And this is exactly why the Stoics treated every confrontation, every insult, every unfair moment, not as a problem, but as practice. They believed life constantly gives you reps. Opportunities to strengthen your mind by refusing to be pulled down by the noise. Picture this. You're standing at the counter of a hardware store. You've been waiting patiently while the clerk helps someone else. Then a guy behind you jumps ahead, waves a receipt, and demands to be served first. He raises his voice. Everyone turns. And there you are, heart racing, jaw tight, ready to explode.